And a good evening, everybody. We are live. And welcome to another episode of Top 5 Collaborations with the Westerosi Ninja, me, and the Dawg Show. And featuring our top 5 lists, from a variety of different subjects. Well, we're going to have something really new for you guys. We're not doing any kind of list right now, but instead we're going to talk about one of our favorite, new shows, okay, from our all-time, at least my all-time favorite movie franchise, which is The Karate Kid, or one of my top 3 at least favorite movie franchises. And as usual, I'm the Westerosi Ninja coming back from a 3-week vacation. It was lovely. And thanks everybody for asking how my vacation was. It was great. Loved it, everything. And but anyway, joining me as usual again is Dawg from the Dawg Show. So what's going on, Dawg? What's happening with you?
Oh, it's great to be back here, Milt, and great to be collabing here with you again. Now that you're back from vacation, so looking forward to the future. Looks like here on this channel for a bit. So as we know, we had a little issue last week on mine during the Ben-Hur stream, but I tried my best, folks, and hey, at least it wasn't over porgs or Princess Leia flying through outer space or things of that nature, right? But enough of that. Tonight, we get to talk about, one of my favorite film franchises of all time, too. I think we did our favorite sports films.
Yep.
I actually had Karate Kid up. I think it was like my top 3 or something. It was like my number 3, I think. So
yeah, and it was my number 4. So it was like, we both love this movie and we both love this franchise. So it's great. I mean, it's childhood nostalgia at its best. 80s and late 80s, early 90s kind of deal going on here. Well, actually, it's mid 80s, right? The first movie was like an 84 or something like that.
84, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. And so we're really excited to basically share a review of the season 2 trailer that came out recently, a couple weeks ago. Actually, maybe 3 weeks ago, right before I left on vacation here. And basically, this film is a YouTube original. And so basically, you can only see it if you're subscribed to YouTube Premiere. But it's great. I mean, it basically is like The Karate Kid 34 years after the events of the original movie. And but you can only see if you're subscribed to it, unfortunately. But it is out right now. Probably on I think it's still only out on YouTube right now, right? I don't think it's made its round anywhere else. Is that right, Dawg?
I think on the YouTube Premium, and you can still watch episode 1 and episode 2 for free, right? And you can still watch those first 2 episodes all the way through, and then see if you want to continue, of course, right? Or there's other means, of course, you can watch it, of course, right?
Yeah. But I mean, other legal means, probably not, right?
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
You have to go through that, and just to quickly say, next to Game of Thrones, I think this is the best television show there is.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely put this in my top 3. Definitely, I still think Game of Thrones, Westworld, okay, and then it would be a tie between this and Vikings, I think. But some people hate Westworld because of the events of last season. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Dawg. Really, right? So anyway, but enough about Westworld. We are here to talk about the season 2 trailer, man. I mean, we are like totally pumped for this, okay? So, and the whole idea came about because when we saw these season 8 Game of Thrones, trailers, for like the 10,000th time, and we haven't seen a Cobra Kai season 2 trailer review in this community yet. So we decided to share our thoughts about our favorite show, one of our favorite shows at least, which is Cobra Kai. So without further ado, I think we should start. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Let's rock it out. Cobra Kai never dies.
Yeah, Cobra Kai never dies. Cobra Kai. But before we do that, you're on the Westerosi Ninja channel. So that what that means is that you're always going to get some history and some trivia. So here's a slide basically showing the whole Karate Kid timeline, okay, in terms of basically the TV show and movie canon of the Karate Kid. Okay, so essentially it started in 1984 here, the original Karate Kid movie. Okay. Then in 1986, we had Karate Kid Part 2, which was set in Okinawa. Okay, it wasn't really a great movie, but it had a really cool song in it by Peter Cetera, The Glory of Love. And then a lot of people don't remember this, but in 1989, for about 6 months, there was an animated Karate Kid series based on, the events of the movies based off of Daniel. It had an animated Miyagi and an animated Daniel-san, on NBC. And it wasn't like, it wasn't like tournament stuff. It was like them on a crazy adventure style kind of quest. Okay. It was almost like, they were like, basically time warped into like fantasy land. So, yeah, but there was one for only like 6 months. So then in 1994, basically, you know what, we're missing that the Karate Kid Part 3. The Karate Kid Part 3 came out in roughly 1989 as well. So we're missing that in this chart for whatever reason. Oh, my mistake. Sorry about that. In 1990, and basically 1993, really, Karate Kid Part 3 really kind of continues on the events of Karate Kid Part 1. So just like, imagine Karate Kid Part 2 never existed, with tournaments and everything else. Then in 1994, we had the next Karate Kid. So basically Daniel LaRusso, the main teenage character, he's off to college right now. And up comes Hilary Swank, if you believe it, 2-time Academy Award winner for Best Actress, Hilary Swank, as the new protege of Mr. Miyagi. So that was a kind of an okay movie. It wasn't really that great either. And then we had this long period, for about 16 years basically until 2010. And we had a remake of The Karate Kid starring Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, and Jackie Chan as his mentor. So basically, they're taking up the Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi roles here. Not a big fan of this remake. Dog, what do you think?
Yeah, you were right on the money with that 1989, by the way, Mel.
Yeah.
With Karate Kid Part 3. And yeah, I was trying to remember the animated version. It reminds me of when they did the Happy Days characters and made them go into a bunch of different time eras or whatever, and they made Fonzie do that or something, right?
Yeah, but, probably. And then, so basically after the Karate Kid remake came out, then 2018, we got our first season last year, okay? Our first season of Karate Kid, of Cobra Kai on YouTube, okay? So it's a YouTube exclusive again. YouTube original, and you can only get it if you subscribe to YouTube Premium. And here's some movie facts for everybody. So basically, we took I took this from Hisropedia, and in terms of the actual gross box office numbers for all 5 of the Karate Kid movies in the canon, okay, we're looking at about $430 million domestically. Is how much revenue is generated, and worldwide about $600 million. So it's been a pretty successful movie franchise in general for only 5 movies. So that's that's pretty impressive. And and if you look at the budgets, it went sky high. So the first Karate Kid movie only had a budget of about $8 million, and it made $90 million. That's a nice little profit margin there. Return on investment. And the last Karate Kid movie, the remake, it had a $40 million production budget. And the domestic box office came out to be about $176 million. Worldwide, it did really well, $350 million. So on a return on investment, the latest Karate Kid movie actually made more money, but only worldwide. If you just look at the domestic box office numbers, the actual percentage of return on investment is still, the original Karate Kid.
I'd imagine... correct me if I'm wrong, Mel, but the guy that directed the first Rocky also did Karate Kid, right? I forgot his name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I'd imagine Rocky had a hell of a return on investment also.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like they went with the correct model to go with.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I wanted to mention real quickly was that there are just certain films that you just don't remake, right?
Yeah.
And this was one of them. The original Karate Kid, it didn't need a remake. So that's one thing I wanted to mention about the new one that with Jaden Smith or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's films like Karate Ghostbusters. You don't do that, and Ben-Hur, right?
Yeah, it's too bad. Instead of a remake, what they should have done, in my opinion, was that maybe they could have done a prequel of like Mr. Miyagi when he first learned, karate. And when he was in World War II, I think that would have been a really, really cool movie to see a prequel, of his life.
Oh,
as a young
that
kid.
sounds amazing already, Mel.
Yeah, yeah. And him and like, how he trained with his father and Sato, number Sato from Karate Kid Part
Oh,
2,
yep.
and how they fell through, how they, basically, loved the same girl and everything else went to shit after that. So, yeah, I mean, it would have been amazing, but hopefully one of these days they will have a movie like that. So, I mean, unfortunately, the actor that played Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita, I think he died relatively recently, right? Like 3 years ago or something like that.
Not too long ago, because
Yeah.
like one of the episodes, I want to say episode 5 was
Mm-hmm.
actually dedicated to his memory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One where he goes to the graveyard or his grave site and stuff, and
Yeah. And yeah, so anyways, so we are starting season 2 and it premieres April the 24th, 2019. Okay, so it's only 2 weeks after the season 8 premiere of Game of Thrones, if you can believe it. So it's going to be a pretty busy, April, May, and June, for at least for me and you, Dog, in terms of like our favorite TV shows, for sure.
definitely we
So
got
yeah.
Game of Thrones, we got Cobra Kai, we got
Yeah.
Endgame coming up.
Yeah, it'll be great. And so let's go on to the next one. And then for everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about in terms of Cobra Kai characters, I kind of broke it down into like the factions, okay, in the TV show. So, if you're familiar with Karate Kid, it may be old hat to you, but I'm just going to say it anyway. So, on one side, we have Team Daniel, okay, which is the original Karate Kid from the 1984 movie. Okay, this guy here, this little Funko right there. See that guy? Pretty cool, right? Basically, and he's aligned with Robbie Keane, who's actually the son of Johnny Lawrence, the main antagonist of the original movie. Then you have his wife Amanda, okay, who's like his partner also in the car dealership that Daniel owns. Sam or Samantha is their teenage daughter, who is is trained in karate. And we will talk about what happens to her at the end of last season 1. And also they also have a younger son called Anthony, and then he spends most of his time on the computer or eating. Okay, and then on the right hand side, okay, we have Team Johnny. Okay, that's Johnny Lawrence, okay, one of the main antagonists of the original movie. And basically, here's a little Funko of that guy, right? See that guy? He's pretty cool. And basically, 30 years later, obviously, he's basically pretty much a downtrodden loser in life, alcoholic, he works as a TV installer and he takes dumps in customers' bathrooms and they get mad about it. And but anyway, his stepdad gives him the keys to that old dojo that he used to train in, and his first student is a kid named Miguel Diaz. Okay, so he's pretty much of a loser too, and really wimpy, has asthma, is really sickly and everything else. But he trains him up, and then there's another kid who's being bullied at school, a guy named Hawk. His real name is Eli Moshevitz, but he likes to be called Hawk. And lastly, we also have another kid called Aisha Robinson. Okay, and she's like a really intelligent, a science nerd type, but she's been kind of bullied and marginalized in high school as well, and then she only gains acceptance by going into the dojo of Johnny Lawrence. And she used to be, childhood friends of Samantha Lou Russo, or Sam. Okay, and in the middle are these people I call with unknown affiliations, right? In the end of season 1, the last scene in season 1, we see John Kreese, right? He was the evil sensei of Johnny Lawrence of Cobra Kai, of the original Cobra Kai. Really mean character. I mean, he's a psychopath. Then you have this schmuck called Kyler. Okay, I never seen an Asian guy. I never heard of an Asian guy called Kyler before, but this is the first time. Okay, and he's like the ex-boyfriend of Samantha. Shannon is the ex-wife of Johnny Lawrence, but the mother of Robbie Keane. Okay, and then we have another one of basically Miguel's and Hawk's friends. Who are being bullied by Kyler and his gang, and his name is Dimitri. So we don't know what's going on with these guys yet, but they're back, and Kreese is the interesting one. I mean, I don't know what kind of role he's going to play in, but we will talk about that later, and he does show up in the trailer. So basically, where we left off from season 1, well, here are the key plot lines. Okay, at the end of season 1, Miguel Diaz, okay, who is Johnny Lawrence's first student, he becomes the All Valley champion, okay, representing Cobra Kai. And then the second thing is that Daniel's worried that Cobra Kai is going to sprout up now in popularity and everybody's going to go towards Cobra Kai. He doesn't believe in their philosophies of, no mercy, strike first, strike hard. So now he's going to open up a dojo at Mr. Miyagi's old house. Okay. And then the third plot line is that Sam, the daughter of Daniel, starts to focus back into learning karate and training in karate. And the last key plot line is the return of John Kreese. So these are the things hopefully will be addressed in season 2. I don't know what's going to happen. What do you think, Doug?
I was definitely. Can we go back to your last slide, Mel,
sure.
at all? If possible, yeah. This was the most intriguing thing I thought was the Kreese factor here, right? What's going to happen with? We saw him pop in, right? And he was like, "You did it, Mr. Lawrence. You won, right?" But now, how is Johnny gonna, align himself? Is he gonna align himself basically with Kreese now? Or is Kreese gonna try to make a total new faction of Cobra Kai students on his own, kind of things of that nature? Because Mel was kind enough to share the sneak peek with me yesterday, and we saw that. Johnny was chewing out his students for things like, attacking your opponent when his back is turned, right? Or attacking, somebody at their weakest point, right? And so, he was like, being a Cobra Kai, he wants to teach the strike first, no mercy mentality, right? The, strike like a cobra mentality, but at the same time, doing it with some respect and honor, right? Beat the opponent when they're at their strongest, right? How's that line go? He says to Aisha, Mel.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's in our last slide, so we can talk about that. But basically,
okay, sure.
Basically, I mean, would you rather be a cobra who beats the strongest lion or the cobra that beats a crippled monkey?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So but I think Johnny's trying to, definitely teach these kids, to fight with some honor and respect, at the same time being badass. Yeah. Right. And what I loved about that little scene, that little clip, was still kept him true to his character that I loved in the show. Right. Yeah. So, but I'm sorry, Mel.
No. It's great. Yeah. Thanks a lot for that little bit of insight there. And so remember, okay, so these are the key plot lines I think that are left over from season 1. Hopefully they will be addressed. In addition, maybe there will be introduced to some new plot lines. But again, it's a really, really cool show. It's funny. It's nostalgic. It has everything, right, Dog? It's great.
Absolutely. Because we got a taste of that at the end when, because Hawk, right, he injures Robbie right at the end, right, when his back's turned, right, and Johnny's like, hey, what was that all about, right?
Yep.
And then he's kind of upset with Miguel also for, kind of capitalizing on that injury.
Exactly.
And that at the time when he should be at his happiest, right? Out of all the trials and tribulations he's been through that whole season, Cobra Kai is back. They're on top. And he's not happy about it at all, right? Because the way they won, kind of, right?
Yeah, so. I mean, he's really not happy about it. Also, because like the injured party was his own son, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
I don't know how this was for you, also, Mel, but they make it tough on the viewer because it's like, okay, Miguel wins, right? But at the same time, I love Miguel. Watching him grow all the way through the season and seeing his mother and his grandmother happy for him. It was a great moment, I thought, on the show too. And it's like, but he's kind of turning into the bad guy, sort of, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, if there's anybody who is like Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels, it'll be freaking Miguel Diaz. I mean, he started out as Anakin, and he's starting to turn into Darth Vader at the end of the series. He's starting to go dark, man. He's starting to go dark. That's what I'm gonna say.
Great. I love all these characters, though. That's what I love about the show. They kind of just siphoned in the new stuff a little bit, eased into it, right? And at the same time, they kept these great characters that we love from the original movies. So
yeah, great. And I think that's it for the background material. And we will go into the trailer now. And just want to thank everybody out out there in the chat for stopping by. We have Rhodes Rants. We got Peter Griffin. We got some guy named the Dawg Show. W Vogs, Living My Rhapsody. Phantom D Saint showed up and then left. And a guy and somebody named Lost Knowledge, who was the first one to type something in our list that Dog knows. So thanks again, guys, for stopping by here, and I hope you enjoy this. And we have somebody named B4Z3D or Scrubs. I know that guy. So hey, Scrubs. So,
welcome.
So let's get going on the trailer review. Why don't we now? So I guess what we're going to do is basically show a bunch of screenshots and slides going in chronological order, you know, in the trailer as seen in the trailer. And our first scene basically has Robbie and Samantha on the beach doing some kata, you know, and then as an overlay, you know, we hear Daniel's voice talking about inner peace, focus, and balance. And then we see Robbie and Samantha on a circular piece of wood floating in a pond, standing up and performing their kata at Mr. Miyagi's old house. So what's going on here, Dog? What do you think's happening?
You know, I'm wondering, and I was the one that made this title, Show Me Stand in the Rain, because that's all they get to do, right? I mean, Daniel had to paint the house, sand the floor, wash all the cars, right? You know, paint the house, right? He had to do all this stuff. All these kids get to do in this day and age is just stand on this circular object. Now, hopefully, if they don't maintain balance, they probably fall off. Is what I'm thinking. What's going on here? This is probably a teamwork drill of some sort, right? Where you know, if one loses balance, and then the whole thing's gonna go kaput. Yes, that's my guess here, Milt.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly the same exercise as in the original movie where Daniel had to like stand on the boat and start doing kicks. Yeah, if he lost his balance or fall in the water, you know. But this is really just kind of like a two-man exercise here, you know, on a floating disc.
Then the only other thing I wanted to ask you, Milt, was, I mean, 1984 was when this film came out, right? And Daniel had painted the fence, all the house, and sanded the floor and all that stuff. Do they ever have to go back and do that ever again, or is that paint just like super paint Miyagi?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that fence needs some more wood and a new paint job. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think it's time to get these kids. You know, show me paint the fence, right? Up, down, and the breathing, very important.
Yeah, but that house still has that really nasty aquamarine paint, though. So I think that's probably super paint. I mean, I think that's been there since 1984. So yeah.
Take on this.
Yeah, and Scrub says that Daniel's really becoming an OG. All right. But Johnny's still the best character. Yeah, I mean, Johnny's great. I mean, Johnny's probably the main character in this TV show by far. You know, he's sort of like the protagonist, right? I don't consider him an antagonist anymore in this series. And you know, Daniel is just kind of, yeah. I mean, I guess we can talk about Daniel later. I don't know what he is.
Antagonist, semi-antagonist.
Yeah, I mean,
it's strange.
It's really strange. I mean, they have a really, really strange relationship for sure. So our next scene. Dog titles this the Miyagi way. You know, I put in what happens here is that, you know, Johnny's basically looking at a computer, you know, and then, you know, he's looking at something in the computer, and he has this like expression going, you know, what the hell is this all about, right? And of course, when he's watching is, you know, Daniel LaRusso basically, you know, on YouTube or on a commercial saying, you know, he's opening up a new karate dojo called Miyagi Do, and all lessons are free. And his kind of like catchphrase is, it's not about the money, it's about the karate. So what do you think's happening here? I mean, it's like, you know, Johnny has this like, you know, what the hell is going on? You know, it's like, you know, is this competition or is he like just like flabbergasted that Daniel's even doing this for absolutely no reason? I mean, I don't think Johnny even knows why Daniel's doing this, you know.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Milt, but didn't Daniel or Johnny did find out about Daniel basically getting the like his rent raised and stuff, things of that nature, basically trying to hurt him business wise before, right? And I think that's the way he's gonna think about this, right? He's like, oh man, this guy's just trying to shut me down. with this free karate lessons and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the beginning he could have been trying to do that, but I think what's happening now is that Daniel probably figures out that, okay, the Cobra Kai just has a new All Valley champion, right? So they're gonna sprout up in popularity, right? And Daniel is philosophically opposed to all the key tenets of the Cobra Kai way, right? No mercy, strike fast, strike hard, or strike first, strike hard. So, I think Daniel thinks that it's up to him to basically shut them down or basically slow their popularity and slow their growth.
Because the reason I made this, I put up here the Miyagi way, right? And because I'm just thinking it almost felt like Daniel's pride, right? Was just like, you know what? I have the means where I can just give free lessons, things of that nature, and I can just have everybody look at Daniel LaRusso. He's so great, right? What a great person he is because he does all these wonderful things, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it was almost like a pride thing, whereas to me, this wasn't something that Mr. Miyagi would do, right? Daniel had to, he had to damn near go through being killed before Mr. Miyagi would even possibly teach him he had to work for it, right? He had to paint the fence and sand the floor, all that kind of stuff, right?
He had to wax like 5 cars, 5 rusted cars, by the way. It's kind of hard to wax.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think that Mr. Miyagi would be out going, hey, I'm giving free karate lessons. Everybody, come over here and learn kata for free.
Yeah,
right?
And Scrubs or B4Z3D makes a good point in the chat saying, he thinks that Mr. Miyagi would not have been really that proud of Daniel's grudge match or whatever, wherever the relationship between him and Johnny is right now. This whole kind of like petty revenge thing going on,
That's beautiful. That's exactly what I was. That was kind of my point. Exactly. I think I don't think Mr. Miyagi would really approve of this.
Yeah, and also, I don't think Mr. Miyagi would actually approve of just commercializing, the whole karate, the whole karate training thing altogether, right? Because in fact, what Daniel is doing right now is commercializing it, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look at what, like I said, before, look at what Daniel had to basically go through in order for Mr. Miyagi to finally say, look, yes, I will train you, when no other options are available, then I will teach you to be a ruthless fighter. Right.
Yep. All right. So Johnny's not too happy, or he's like going, what the hell is going on here? And Daniel's acting like a dork and going against his former sensei's key tenets or his philosophies. So we get into the next scene here, and what we see here is we see Kreese and Johnny at the Cobra Kai dojo it appears in, and then they're looking down a hallway, and in comes Daniel LaRusso. And so what do you think's going on here, dog? Why is Daniel LaRusso in the Cobra Kai dojo, and why is Kreese just kind of hanging around there, you think? That's
the weirdest question, or the toughest question I have right now is why did he walk back into the Cobra Kai dojo? Yeah. What would his reason possibly be for that, right? Other than to confront Kreese, possibly, but it's not like he knows that Kreese is back in town.
Exactly. Right? Kreese at the end of season 1 is lurking in the shadows. Still,
right. He was just lurking in the shadows. So I'm trying to think of. Yeah. Maybe he saw something with, with Johnny's new advertisement or something like that, or with the new, because it kind of looks like the kids that Johnny kind of says, hey, come back tomorrow with your checkbooks.
Yeah, sure.
They're kind of Daniel's new students at Miyagi-Do. I'm kind of wondering if some sort of conflict happened with those students possibly.
Yeah. And,
or, something with Johnny's advertisement, things of that nature that made him walk in there to see what's happening here.
Yeah, so do you think Johnny even wants Kreese to be hanging around the dojo?
And that's why I had you go back earlier on that slide, Milt, was because Kreese was like my biggest question mark here because we don't know. I don't think he's necessarily happy about him. And and again, we talked about the way Johnny's teaching, right? It might not look that way to Daniel. Right. Sometimes students make mistakes, things of that nature, but that's definitely not what Johnny's trying to teach his students. Right. He's trying to teach them respect and honor and
Well,
you know, and good sportsmanship, things of that nature, right? At the same time, right? But I could see this being Kreese and Johnny having a conflict,
hmm
and then Daniel walking in and going, "Oh, look at the two buddies are back," right?
yeah,
You know, kind of one of those
yeah.
Three's Company misunderstanding sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Also, I was thinking was that the fact is that Johnny. Remember, last season, Johnny considers Kreese like almost like a substitute father, right? He admitted that Kreese was my dad, for a while because his real dad died when he was young, and then his stepdad was a total a-hole, right? Sid Weinberg was a total a-hole. So I mean, Kreese was basically his only escape from being bullied at home. So maybe Johnny feels like he owes it to Kreese for being there when he was a kid, but he doesn't necessarily like the guy at all. You know what I mean? At this point, because I mean, Kreese did try to kill him, right? He smashed his trophy and basically tried to strangle him at the end of basically no, at the beginning of Karate Kid Part Two. Yeah, at the beginning of Karate Kid Part Two in the parking lot. So yeah. So something weird is going on with Kreese and Johnny here, and again, I don't know what the deal is with Kreese. Does he really want to open up Cobra Kai dojos, or is there some other nefarious purpose that he has for hanging around, at this time?
That's why I'm so glad you put him right in the middle, because we don't know exactly what his. Yeah. I think he's gonna try. I think he's gonna basically build a new faction of ruthless little punks, I guess, right?
Yeah. And so what do you have here? Okay, so we got Scrubs going here saying that Daniel's arc might be discovering that his actions are not as noble as he thinks. Perhaps. Maybe he's misinterpreted it. Mr. Miyagi's teachings a little bit. So anyway, any chance of the bad boy karate popping up? We will get that. We will get to you at the end of the stream, because I got some information about Mr. Mike Barnes. So anyway, okay, so we're done with this scene in the trailer, and we go to the next scene, and boom, cue the Bananarama, Cruel Summer. It's a cruel summer. Okay, anyway, the first part of the scene is that we are introduced to a new young lady here, and according to the spoilers or the leaks out, her name is Tori, and evidently she is some troubled kid in Southern California, and evidently Miguel is taking a shine to her. Okay. And then we also get this kind of backdrop of Johnny saying defeat does not exist in this dojo, walking around acting all badass as usual, right?
No, great.
Yeah. And then we see the scene. I think the scene is probably from the scene beforehand. We're in the hallways, right, confronting one another. But I think they kind of just cut the scene in here where Daniel goes, "You're in for a rude awakening." So I don't know what he's talking about. And then finally at the end of the scene, we see some more beach training scenes with Samantha, and then Samantha and basically Robbie doing their kata, in the sunset, right? Typical Karate Kid style. And so what do you think's happening here with Daniel, and why is he saying you're in for a rude awakening?
And again, I think this leads us back. I got a feeling what's going on is like John and John Kreese, Johnny and John Kreese there, right? They're having some sort of a spat. Mm-hmm. Daniel's gonna walk in, right?
Yeah.
And he's gonna be, oh, look, the buddies are back, right? And and Johnny's not gonna have that, right? Mm-hmm. Now they're gonna get into a confrontation here about Daniel's gonna be like, I'm gonna do free lessons and turn Miyagi-Do into the greatest thing ever, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what's happening here is the end of their spat. Now I'm interested here, and this new the new character Tori.
Yeah, Tori. Yeah,
I think we're gonna get to see her a little bit later. I think she might be, and this was my little theory about John Kreese. I don't know necessarily. I guess my prediction or whatever that. Kreese is going to make a new faction, and that was going to be his karate bad girl.
Yep. We will get into that later. I mean, I totally agree with you, but we will get into that later because we see her again here.
Man, I love Bananarama. It was such a perfect song for that film.
Oh yeah, yeah.
80s, man.
Yeah, totally. I think that song did come out in 1984 as well. So it's amazing how great this the show is written, I mean, everything's kind of accurate, you know. Everything's up to date, 2019, but you know, they're bringing in nostalgia from the mid '80s when the movies, you know, first came out, you know, and it's accurate too, right? The first movie came out in '84. This song came out in '84. So
the school sucks, man. It sucks.
That's awesome. So yeah, so you know, and the scenery in the beach, you know, was great. It's beautiful, but yeah, I mean, this is total Karate Kid, right? Basically forms the silhouettes, right, against the sunset. Right, it's typical stuff, right? We've seen this in every single Karate Kid movie, right? We always got to have a silhouette against the sunset.
Oh, sorry, no.
The what?
I'm sorry. Repeat that last. I was talking over you, buddy.
No. I'm saying that, like, I mean, this is total, you know, Karate Kid movie, you know, stuff here, right? Where you're always gonna have a silhouette of people practicing karate against the sunset or sunrise. And this is what you see here.
Yeah, I was making a joke. I said it'd be funny if they'd shoehorned Paime in.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
That totally made my day.
Yeah, and he could like just kind of like, you know, touch his whisker, his beard, you know, and flip it around and flick it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, so good stuff. Okay, so boom, you know, so for the majority of the trailer, we're gonna hear like Cruel Summer going on, you know, and we head on to our next scene, which is Cobra Kai for life. And there's like this quote about Cobra Kai is about being badass, and what you see here is, you know, you see Miguel, you know, walking out of his apartment where he lives, you know, putting on the shades, right? And Johnny's there to meet him. You know, they do this fist bump together, and then we see, and then we see scenes from evidently a television special or whatever, or a movie that they're doing, you know, that Cobra Kai is doing to promote, you know, their dojos. And you see, you know, guys, you know, doing spin kicks and breaking boards. You see Aisha, you know, basically punching at a board or kicking a board. I don't know what, I forgot what she did, but in the lower right hand corner. And then you see all of them up on the stage together and like looking badass and smiling. So what is this about? Decommercialization of Cobra Kai, or what do you think is happening here?
So yeah, I think the beginning, I think this the bro fist moment here, right? Yeah. That's going to be kind of like probably one of the earlier moments in the season, right?
Okay.
You know, Cobra Kai is on top, right? Mm-hmm. You know, Miguel and Johnny definitely have a strong relationship, things of that nature, right? And the only question I had is like, are we, you know, when they jump into season 2, are we going to like kind of immediately go from where we left off, or are they going to kind of fast forward to a year to where are we not even going to see an All Valley tournament this season, right? Is this going to be our tournament per se? Is this like a skills challenge, right? It kind of looks like they have like on television, they're doing like a bunch of skills, breaking boards, things of that nature. Are they going to be doing that up against, you know, other dojos, things of that nature too, at other schools?
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I think they're going to keep it linear in terms of the timelines. So I don't think there's going to be any kind of time jumps back and forth. Okay. Yeah. Because, I mean, these are 30-minute episodes, right? So it's kind of hard to do in these kind of short episodes to do, you know, a lot of time jumps. But I'm kind of agreeing with you in terms of, you know, them not actually showing a tournament this season. I think the tournament is going to be next season. I think what they want to do is, you know, if it happens to be, we are going to see 3 factions developing here, you know, like a good Cobra Kai, a bad Cobra Kai, and Daniel's Miyagi-Do. If those develop this season, then probably we'll have a tournament next season, right, with all 3 factions being represented. What do you think, Dawg?
I think that's a good idea there, Mel. I think because I don't think they're going to do a time jump of a year and get into the next All Valley tournament, right? They're going to do something a little different here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I kind of like this idea. Have like a skills challenge type of thing against, you know, with all the different, you know, factions, right? And the other schools, right? And I'm rooting for Aisha.
Yeah. And, you know, and no, this whole TV show is, you know, it's a total reaction, right? I mean, this is Johnny's reaction to Daniel opening up a free karate lessons at his dojo, right, at Miyagi-Do. Is that now Johnny needs to prove that Cobra Kai is the badass, karate dojo in the valley, and everybody should join Cobra Kai. But just look at all the cool stuff we're doing, like spin kicks and breaking boards, right?
Right. It's like the first thing the kids
Yeah,
always ask about, right? Hey,
yeah,
can you break boards? What color belt do you have? Things of
yeah,
that nature, right? They're not interested in, I guess the inner peace and balance and things of that nature. The
yeah.
first thing they're thinking is, how do I break boards, right?
Exactly. It's like, yeah, how am I going to beat up my enemy at school and that kind of stuff, right? So, and we are going to go to the next scene here. We are all Miyagi-Do, okay? So now we're into this trailer here where, we're kind of like doing contrast between Johnny's Cobra Kai against, Daniel's Miyagi-Do and what they stand for. And in Daniel's Miyagi-Do here, what they stand for is that, what he says in the trailer, it doesn't matter who anyone was before they stepped into this dojo. I think that was the same thing that Johnny was saying last season, wasn't it? Pretty much. And Daniel just copied him word for word. It doesn't matter, who you were before you stepped into this dojo. So anyway, Daniel's doing the same thing, okay, to open up his dojo here. And then you see like, a couple of goofy kids in the upper left-hand corner there. And then, you see Daniel driving Robbie and Samantha in the original yellow convertible from the old movie. Okay, see that picture over there? I think that's the original yellow convertible, man. That thing is still running right now, and that thing's at least 65 years old, especially if it's the early 50s model, right? We're looking at 65 years old. So, good on Daniel for actually keeping it up. But then again, he does own a car dealership, right? So he probably forces his mechanics to go work on it and keep it running, right? Otherwise, at the risk of termination.
How much fun do you think those kids are having watching Daniel drive?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they don't look too happy, do they?
Right. Yeah, Robbie looks like he's just like, really?
Yeah. And then in the bottom of the slide, what you see here is them doing their kata, in the scenic, majestic Miyagi dojo with that really hard, paint job for the house, that puke aquamarine, and they're just doing their what is that stance called where you put your hands together?
I think it's the beginning
Lotus?
of the O-H-I-O.
Yeah, I think they're doing the Village People YMCA routine, maybe perhaps, or trying to like,
That could be it too.
Yeah, getting that thing down, and yeah. So you see these kids going there and basically learning karate. You got Samantha there, you got Robbie there, and I think the dude on the extreme right hand side, I think that's Dimitri.
Yeah, wow, that or at least his little brother, possibly.
Yeah. And
I think you're right.
Yeah,
but now all these kids here, Mill, I think they're the ones that we saw in the sneak peek yesterday. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, and Johnny was like, "Hey, I don't have," because we can see that Cobra Kai is kind of taking off a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I can't do any new students right now. Come back tomorrow and bring your checkbooks, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think these are the kids that he kind of turns away.
Mm-hmm. But you know what, though? I mean, if it is Dimitri, wouldn't that be kind of interesting, right? So you have Miguel, who's part of Miguel and Hawk, and Dimitri were like best buds in high school. I mean, they were all bullied together by Kyler, right? And now one of them is breaking off from the gang, and then, joining up Miyagi-Do.
Yeah, because originally Dimitri tried to go in with Cobra Kai, but then he was like, he wasn't having it.
Yeah, he wasn't having it because Johnny was calling him a pussy, right? Pretty much basically. Every day. Yeah, so... Yeah, but he didn't like that one bit.
But Daniel's doing this. I mean, has Daniel totally forgotten about paint the fence and sand the floor? Has he forgotten those things? I wouldn't.
Well, evidently, maybe it is the 21st century, so maybe there are some kind of like forced child labor laws in effect in the county now. So
I gotcha.
It's not politically correct to do that kind of stuff anymore. At least in a movie, it's not politically correct, right?
I'm just saying he could have He could have the whole neighborhood done.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
and everybody could learn karate.
And they can do it in probably a tenth of the time now too, right? Because they have like eight kids to work on this stuff, right? I mean, they can wax those cars in 1 hour probably, Paint a house in a couple of hours, Mow the lawn too, probably, right?
That is, yeah, and yeah, B4 3D. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
before
He
Z3.
brings up, yeah, friendships are broken by the power of karate.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to bring you inner peace here, right? We're
Yeah.
not supposed to be breaking friendships over karate,
Mm-hmm.
but it's happening.
Yeah, it
That's why
is.
I watch the show.
Yeah, yeah. It's
The
all about
drama.
karate, man. Karate is life, guys. Karate is life. So, and then, so we get into the next part of the trailer, and guess who do we see?
Finish him.
Yeah, we see John Kreese, with the iconic words, finish him. And guess who is he talking to? No other than Tori, right? The new characters, the new bad girl. Miguel Diaz's flame, evidently. Could be his flame. Okay. And then she's going, yes, master, and does like a roundhouse kick to some poor kid. And off he goes, right? So it looks like they're in the woods together. I don't know what Aisha Robinson is doing there with John Kreese, because it looks like Johnny's nowhere in the scene, right? So it looks like John Kreese basically just took these kids out in the woods to teach them something. And I thought Aisha was smarter than that. So what's happening
that
here?
is a good call there, Milt.
Yeah.
Seeing
Yeah.
Miss Robinson in there, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they're building up Tori here to be the new Mike Barnes, right?
Mm-hmm.
She'll be Samantha's big rival, I think, or possibly Aisha's even.
Yep.
But yeah, they're turning her into into Mike Barnes, I think.
So do you think?
I'm sorry, Milt.
So do you think like you have like Tori, the bad girl, and then you have Samantha, the good girl, and then you sort of have Miguel, right, who's the ex-boyfriend of Samantha, but yet now he's attracted to Tori. Is he going to be torn? Is his allegiances going to be like compromised here a bit?
It's definitely going to be interesting. I'm really curious to know why they are out here with Mr. Kreese. What's I can't remember do you remember who the kid is behind Kreese there?
Oh, I think he's a nobody.
He might be a new one then too, possibly. So,
it's a red shirt.
But if you get a chance to rewatch this,
yeah,
watch that kid totally telegraph this move. Like he's already like 3 feet, going this way before like the kick has even started. I think it's pretty funny if you get a chance to rewatch it.
All right, cool. Cool. Hey, we're watching this for the story, not the technical accuracy of the karate. Okay,
it's Karate Kid. What did you
it's Karate Kid, man? Come on.
If you get a chance, check that out, though.
All right, I will. Yeah. So we got Kreese and we got the bad girl, and then I think Kreese is holding some sort of like secret training session, right? Without Johnny's permission. Johnny's nowhere inside here, right? The trailer.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe Johnny had to do something with his ex or something, and Kreese came in and took over for the day or something.
Yeah, or Johnny's challenger was in the shop, right? Perhaps.
And then
drive out.
I wonder if this is like the same woods area that Daniel took Robbie last season.
Yeah, could be.
But he had him standing on his hands or on his one hand with to try to learn that one move that only Mr. Miyagi could do.
Yeah, I don't think
probably the same woods.
I mean, I'm not sure if John Kreese has those kind of moves to actually show people, right? I mean, he was just pure anger and rage and dirty tricks.
No, he's just going to be there to say finish him and make his knuckles bleed.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, seriously. I mean, John Kreese is like Darth Sidious here, right? Come right on. Obviously, he's Darth Sidious.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. So I'm definitely this is going to be a good, intriguing scene here.
Yeah.
And what's Miss Robinson going to do?
Yeah, and why is she even there? Unless maybe she's there to spy on what's going on. Maybe she's a spy for Johnny. Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I think she's my. I'm definitely rooting for her this season, though.
Yeah.
All right. Because we have. You had Miguel winning last season, right? So it's like, okay, well, does Robbie win next year, or does Samantha come into play now? And while all that stuff's going on, right, I think there's going to be the one honorable student that comes out of Cobra Kai is going to be Aisha. I think it's Aisha, isn't it?
Yep. And I think the reason why she'll come out is because she's still childhood. She was childhood friends with Samantha, right? So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
I think they kind of I can't remember if they
Well,
kind of patched up their differences at
yeah.
the end, didn't they,
Yeah,
last
yeah, they
year?
did. Yeah. After Aisha got beaten in the tournament, right? She was just like all pissed off, and then Samantha consoled her and stuff like that.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
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 she got to like the quarterfinals or something.
yeah, yeah. All right. So on to our next scene. So we have our John Kreese scene here, and now we're going into a flashback to 1984, and then you have the voiceover from Daniel-san saying, I know how to beat Cobra Kai. I did it 30 years ago. I can do it again. Meaning he's probably, opening up a new dojo is the way to beating Cobra Kai, evidently. And he sees some really cool shots from the original Karate Kid movie. You got Daniel-san, giving a forearm smash to the back, to Johnny's head there, and then Daniel-san, with the crane move, and boom, a kick to the face. Now, Dog, is this an illegal kick to the face, do you think?
And this is a tough one for me too, because I remember when Terry Silver was training Daniel for a little bit,
Yeah.
and he was like, hey, if the guy's face, like kind of runs into your fist, it's not your fault, right? But I kind of think this possibly was a legal kick.
Yeah, it is. It's a totally legal kick. I think contact to the face is illegal in karate tournaments. I'm pretty sure they are. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right. I mean, and because I think we saw, I want to say Johnny got a point taken away. I know he got a point taken away from when he swept the leg, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
But I think there was another time possibly where he lost a point by punching somebody in the face or something.
Yeah. Well,
so or Barnes did also, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he walked up to him and punched him.
Yeah, and also, Johnny got a point taken away when he grabbed a hold of like Daniel-san's injured leg in the first movie, and basically drove his elbow into the back of his knee. Right? Remember that scene? It was right before the crane kick.
Yeah. Then then Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, didn't Daniel learn this one either? We haven't seen that one either yet.
No, we saw it in season 1, but then he did that, and then he called the paramedics right after he did that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he called the medics. Yeah,
that for the shoulder injury.
Yeah, it was a troll move on Daniel's part.
I remember that now.
Yeah, but
possibly an illegal kick, but they flash back to these scenes, right, to kind of keep us remembering the nostalgia of what was at stake. And again, this was going back to Daniel's pride here with the I've beaten these guys before. I can beat them again. Look how great I am, right? These are things that Mr. Miyagi would not do, right?
Yeah.
When Mr. Miyagi, basically had Kreese down, and right, he defeated Kreese by just kind of moving away, and he had him at his mercy at the end, right? But he didn't go around, when he went to Okinawa, telling all his buddies, "Hey, I beat Kreese," and all these high fives and stuff like that. Mr. Miyagi didn't do stuff like that, right? He didn't brag about, he didn't boast about things, his accomplishments.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
I mean, Mr. Miyagi was a cool ass dude. I mean, he had like multiple medals, from World War II. He put those things away. He knew he was a badass. And most people who met him knew he was a badass. He didn't have to gloat about it one bit. So
right, and I'm seeing that coming out of Danielson a bit. Are you seeing that at all, Milt, with us? Do you see where I'm going with that at all?
Yeah. He's not really following the. He's not really using Mr. Miyagi right now as a role model, right? He's turning into just kind of like an obnoxious adult in a way. Yeah. But I think I think it was Scrubs said earlier on, maybe Daniel's arc in this whole series is him discovering that the things he's doing right now is not the right way to do things, and that is his story.
Right, and that's kind of why I'm rooting for Miss Robinson the most out of this so far. I think she's the most genuine of the students so far, and just from what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and also, hey, fandom, we don't talk about the Karate Kid remake. We mentioned that earlier in the stream here. Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith, are non-persona, at this point. They're non-personas.
Right. Yeah. There are just certain films that we do not remake.
Yep. you don't remake the Karate Kid, which was originally based in Southern California, and to put it into like China. It's like you don't do that. So it won't work. It doesn't work. Sorry, fandom. We're not going to talk about Jaden Smith. So after the flashback to 1984, we have two scenes, and I call this the basically the contrasting dojos. I call it the two dojos scene of the trailer. Basically, the first part is Johnny, looking in the mirror, basically in reflection, in his Cobra Kai dojo, and interestingly, in the reflection are the words of Cobra Kai, right? Strike first, strike hard, and no mercy. In the reflection of the mirror. And then in the second part of the scene, you got, Daniel-san holding a portrait of Mr. Miyagi, Of course, he didn't say, Daniel-san, your best karate is still inside of you. I put that in because that's a cool line from the original movie.
Now time let out.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, this whole scene is about internal struggle, which is Johnny's going through right now, right? In a way, he thinks that maybe Kreese is somehow subverting, subverting his plans for Cobra Kai, and then you have this kind of like self-reflection that Daniel's going through, by looking at Mr. Miyagi and basically probably asking him, hey, am I doing the right thing here?
Right, and I think this is going to be early scene here from the season here with the Johnny in the mirror, right? Okay. I think it's going to be him reflecting over, we won again, right? But how did we win, right? Is that that's the way I want to teach my students? Is this what I want my students doing? Attacking people when their backs turned to them, going after the weak person, right? Things of that nature, right? I think this is going to be like his little time to reflect. And then they might jump into the scene where we saw him giving the folks a pep talk about, being a little more macho, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And then, down here, that's a fantastic line. I'll never forget that, right? It's okay to lose to opponent, not okay to lose to fear, right? So, and again, I don't think Mr. Miyagi would be telling Daniel, hey, make me a web page and spread the word how cool you are and how you defeated Cobra Kai with my teachings, right?
Yes, like I mean, open up a dojo and tell people how you defeated Cobra Kai 30 years ago, right? When Cobra Kai just won the All Valley tournament, like a week earlier. So So I mean, I thought it was a pretty cool scene. Again, I mean, you see these two main characters, kind of like in a moment of reflection, right? And their struggles, if you will, internally. So and a great callback to Mr. Miyagi also. Good portrait. Go ahead.
You brought up a great point also about how they're both virtually doing the same thing with those students. They both, they're both kids that are picked on, things of that nature, right? The ones that he's working with, right? Just they're doing it a little bit differently, it's all right. But at the same time, we see Johnny, he's now trying to actually change the, the culture of Cobra Kai kind of thing, right? But they're virtually the same teacher almost.
I mean, they're virtually the same teacher. They're basically accepting students who are being bullied around, right? In both dojos, and one of their key tenets is that, it doesn't matter who you are before you step into this dojo. So, it's interesting. They're just going about it in completely different ways. And, and I think Daniel is kind of being really obnoxious about the whole thing, about how he's reacting to this, especially with that whole, commercial about free lessons for all and stuff like that, so whatever. And I was gonna say another Funko. So that's Mr. Miyagi in the picture, and this is the Mr. Miyagi Funko.
Funko
Pop. And of course he's holding chopsticks, which you may or may not consider racist. Okay, so anyway, but that's.
Oh, I should have brought chopsticks for today.
But it was a cool scene because even a Jedi Grandmaster of karate like Mr. Miyagi had problems catching flies with chopsticks. So anyway, so we go back to our next scene, And it's basically being badass. So you see both dojos, in training to each other, right? With each other here. And then basically you had this little banner right before the scene saying one fight. And I don't know what that one fight represents, dog, but there is a one fight banner right before the scene. And then it's basically Miyagi Dojo, on the top, basically doing their little kicks and everything like that. And then you see the TV show with Cobra Kai. So what do you think that one fight means?
Well, because this is interesting also because I was wondering who's our main, if we were going to have a All Valley tournament again, right? I think Miguel is going to make it to the final. He's going to defend his title somehow, possibly lose to somebody, right? But as far as like, let's say we're not having a tournament now, is it going to be Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso, or who's going to, or is it going to be, a fight amongst Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do kind of thing here, right?
Or what if it's Kreese against Johnny and Daniel? Maybe Johnny and Daniel team up.
Yeah, because one fight doesn't necessarily mean single combatants. It could be, a football game, right? So, or a battle of some sort, right? So, yeah, but I'm not sure. Like if we're going to try to get it down to single combatants, if you will, there's so many different things going on that I wouldn't know who would be my main, fighters at the end of it. If I was looking at the kids, versus the adults. I mean, the adults would be probably Johnny versus Daniel, right, kind of thing, right. But at the same time, looking at the kids now, I would think it would be Miguel versus, probably Robbie again, or maybe even Aisha, possibly. So, but this one fight, I think it's probably talking Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai.
Yeah, and Peter Griffin brings back a really cool scene from the original Karate Kid movie, and he goes, so you guys remember that Miyagi's face when Daniel catches that fly with the chopsticks? And then Miyagi just says, beginner's luck. That was awesome.
Yeah, did he make him paint the fence after that?
No, I think that was before. I think that was before the fence painting and the car waxing. Yeah,
I do remember that scene very well, but I couldn't remember if he was like, because I remember him going, "You too much beginner luck."
Yeah. Then, but Mr. Miyagi probably remembers that, right? Probably held a grudge, right, later on, and probably made him. That's probably why he made Daniel paint both sides of the fence. Remember that?
Oh, definitely. I totally remember that. And he was like, "Yeah, look at me, I got it all done."
Yeah, I got it all done. No, the other side.
That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
When did Mr. Miyagi catch the chops? When did he catch the fly? Was it part 3 or part 2, or was it next Karate Kid?
Gosh, I mean, I'm trying to remember whether or not he caught the fly at the end of Karate Kid 1, but I could be totally wrong. Somebody in the chat will tell us.
Yeah,
when did he actually catch the fly?
Like in the beginning of one of the films.
Yeah.
And it might have been next Karate Kid.
Could have been Karate Kid Part 3. No, it wasn't Karate Kid Part 3, was it? No, Part 1. Yeah. So Peter Griffin says, yeah, it was in Part 1 also when he finally catches the fly.
Daniel catches it, but I don't think Mr. Miyagi does.
No, Mr. Miyagi. I'm trying to remember. Is that part of me thinks that Mr. Miyagi did catch the fly eventually?
Yeah, he catches it, but not in Part 1.
Okay.
And hey, Al, what's happening?
Yeah, what's going on, Al, Red Sox fan? And hey, Cammy. So, so this is again, just a quick cutaway of the two dojos, doing what they're doing, right? One is all glitz and glamour, the other one's, being all peaceful and stuff. Kicking in the backyard of Mr. Miyagi's house. What's interesting is that they didn't show anybody punching that punching bag in the background of that picture.
Is that the same heavy bag that was back there when Terry Silver was back there long ago?
Yep. Yeah, but I think Mr. Miyagi had it. I mean, I don't think it was a donation from Terry Silver. I think Mr. Miyagi always had that punching bag.
I don't remember him using it. I remember he used the catcher's chest guard.
Yeah.
Was teaching Daniel how to punch, but...
And there's that scene again of that kid, right in front of, right.
It looks like Eli, or that looks like Dimitri.
Yeah, it looks like Dimitri on the right hand side. So friends break up. Karate ruins friendships, evidently.
So him and Hawk are probably going to face off.
Yeah. Yeah, Hawk, man, the guy's psycho. Yeah, I kind of wondering which way Hawk is going to go. Is he going to go the Kreese route, or is he going to stay with Miguel and Johnny?
I could see him going into Kreese because, you know, we know Johnny's not too happy about him causing the injury to Robbie there. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, and want to say hi to Imagination Realm and say hi to Manolin 523, fellow Houstonian. So, we get our last scene of the trailer, Dog, here, okay? And basically, Hawk Rage and video editing tips. And in the upper picture, you see Hawk basically headbutting a fellow student. That's your line, Dog. Don't measure my lip again. So, yeah, I mean, he's really sensitive to that. But is there anything else he's sensitive to? His haircut, too, right? Yeah, because Robbie told him that, remember Robbie told him that, he had to go right away because, to fix that horrible haircut. And then that's when Hawk sucker punched him last season.
That comment essentially lost Robbie the tournament.
Yep.
If Robbie wouldn't have said anything, right?
Yeah.
Hawk doesn't kind of lose his mind, right? And go after Robbie when his back's turned, right? Gets disqualified.
Yep.
Right. So, and then Robbie possibly could beat Miguel then, right? If he's 100%.
Oh, definitely. Definitely so. And, but Hawk shows a lot of temper, he shows a lot of temper issues here, right? I mean, he had some temper problems last season, when he started learning karate, but it just, this scene just kind of like, him just basically headbutting a fellow student, there's I mean, he's kind of losing control here a bit, I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure if Kreese has gotten to him or if it's just the natural evolution of his character, turning into some psychopath. And in the bottom scene here, you got Aisha Robinson basically holding an iPhone, taking a video of basically, Johnny, elbowing a poor plastic dummy right in the face, and good old Johnny in Johnny fashion goes, just make sure the snake comes in at the end. Okay, I really want it to pop, so he's basically using like 21st century lingo for a 50-year-old dude here. So I think that's pretty funny. And that's the end of the trailer, Dog. So what do you think about this scene? Any thoughts?
Again, at the end here, right, where he's talking about, wanting it to pop, right? Kind of like the old wrestling term, right? Hulk Hogan got a lot of pop when he entered the ring.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I think that's going to be, this might be our catalyst to why Danielson goes back to Cobra Kai. Okay. Right. Why he goes back into the dojo. We were talking about that earlier in the stream, right? I think this might possibly be, once he sees that advertisement or something like that, it's going to trigger something for him to go back to with that, right? But this just reminded me of Terry Silver, right, when he was teaching Daniel, how to break the boards and all that on the man or whatever they had, right? They had like the hands and the ribs and the face, right? So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit with Mr. Body here.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's like the poor Body, man. I mean, he was getting his ass kicked in this trailer, I mean, so basically, I think Johnny gives him a couple punches and then basically elbows the guy right in the face, So, I mean, he basically smashes up that dummy.
I don't know if we can quite see this kid's expression here. The one that's watching Hawk just totally headbutt the other kid there, right? So I'm assuming he mentioned something about his lip or his hair or something, or
exactly.
He told his mom and dad about his tattoo on his back, right? So that probably did not go over well with Hawk. He's a totally changed character from the first time we saw him. The first time we saw Hawk, he was Eli, of course, right? I mean, he was just an absolute tortured mess of a child, really,
Eli
right?
Moshevitz.
I felt bad for him, right? But now he's a little, he's a punk now, right? Yeah. And he's playing it well, so.
He's turning into a punk, I mean, he's not as bad as Kyler yet, but he's approaching Kyler territory, definitely.
And that's what's okay. Now here's what's weird about, because like we were talking about this before, right? Well, like Miguel, right? He hasn't turned into like a complete jerk yet or anything of that nature, right? Or even Hawk, right? Because like I mentioned before, it's like we watched Hawk when he was getting picked on, right, and things of that nature, right? So it's hard to like root against him, for me now when I see him, kind of doing things he probably shouldn't be doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? I can say, yeah, that's wrong, but at the same time, I don't hate his hair. I don't like hate his character or anything of that nature. It's kind of strange, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like somebody like Kyler, right? Kyler was a total schmuck.
Yeah.
Kyler could come back and save the whole entire world, and I'd still like these other characters that are kind of turning to the dark side of the Force a
Yeah.
little more. Milt, I don't know how you feel about that, my friend.
Well, again, I totally heard it right. Speaking as an Asian person, I never heard of an Asian person named Kyler before. So if you see something like that, see someone like that, okay, he's pretty much predestined to be a schmuck. So and that's what he ended up to be. Yeah, I mean Hawk, yeah, I mean I'm not really down on this haircut, so I'm beginning to hate him a little bit, So
We do got to get a character named Animal for this season. That is perfect, Peter Griffin. I saw that in the chat there. So we could have Hawk and Animal. Yeah. Maybe Dimitri, right, doesn't get along with Danielson or something, right? And he has a fallout. He goes back to Cobra Kai and becomes Animal, and then we'll have the Legion of Doom, Milt. And that's the last wrestling reference I'll go tonight. But
is that Road Warriors? Is that what the team was?
The Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom. Okay, so who are the Road Warriors? Or somebody else?
They're called.
Okay.
Animal and Hawk.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, Legion of Doom. Gotcha. All right. And that's it for the season 2 trailer. But I have a couple more slides. Okay, the first slide is basically the season 2 sneak peek that came out just a couple of days ago. Okay, so it's basically they basically released a sneak peek just showing one scene. I'm not sure if this is the first episode of season 2. I think it is, but I think this is right in the aftermath of the tournament where basically Johnny starts to dress down Miguel and Hawk for their behavior during the tournament. And basically, Johnny poses a question to all the students. Basically, so if there's 2 cobras in the jungle, one kills the strongest lion, the other kills a crippled monkey. Which one do you want to be? And then he says this to the whole class, but then Aisha Robinson answers, goes, I want to be the one that kills the strongest lion, and then Johnny goes, that's right, because the ones that kills a crippled monkey or kills a person that's already injured, or animals that's already injured, is basically cheating or basically using dirty tricks. And according to Johnny, that's basically pussy moves, and you don't want to be pussies, do you? So, Johnny's right. What do you think about this?
That's exactly, and that's the exact quote that he uses too. And because I was kind of afraid, Mel, because I loved this character so much after the season was over. Like when Kreese showed up, I was afraid that Johnny's gonna turn a little too goody for me, right? Mm-hmm. I was kind of afraid of that a little bit. Well, they did it perfectly here, right? They came out and they showed him saying, hey, yeah, we strike first, we strike hard, no mercy, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we do it fairly, right? And we're not going to pussyfoot around about this, right, so to speak, right? So they threw that line in there to make you still to keep him true to his character, right?
Yeah.
The reason I watch the show is because it's so anti PC, SJW, all that kind of stuff, right? That's one of the main reasons I watch this show, and I love it so much. It's anti like every other show that's on TV, pretty much, right? So, and I thought this was like absolutely perfect to maintain his character, things of that nature. So, it's great. I mean, it's almost like the whole Miyagi school of karate is really just being passive, right? I mean, aggression is not part of the way he teaches his karate, right? There's not aggression whatsoever. Johnny's version of karate is based off of aggression, but I think it's more of a controlled aggression, okay? Or maybe like an honorable aggression, if you will, right? And then you have the Kreese school of karate, which is like, just being dirty, doing anything to win, basically dirty tricks, cheating. Anything goes, and it's basically non-controlled, anarchy, if you will, aggression. So so it's interesting. The 3 schools are kind of developing right now. Johnny's version of karate is definitely different than the way he was taught by Kreese early on. So it's really cool stuff. And so somebody posed that question to you, Dawg, about the 2 cobras. Which cobra do you want to be? Yeah, and See, I would take the crippled monkey out because I'm not
Yeah.
going to have a card. But in all honesty, yeah, I'd want to be the guy that was like,
Yeah.
I'd be with my Cobra buddies, and I guess I wouldn't be able to high five because I'm a Cobra, right? But I'd be like, yeah, I took out the lion, basically, right? So however Cobras high five with their buddy friends, right? Their little Cobra buddy friends, they can just be like, hey, I took out the big lion, right? That would make,
Yeah, it's cool, right? I mean, yeah. I mean,
become mayor of Cobra Land or something someday.
yeah, I mean, in order to be you want to be a real badass, you take out the previous badass, right?
I mean, that monkey might be like Lex Luthor or the Monkeys or something, right? So, I mean, it depends.
I mean, you ever seen that old movie with Jet Li? I mean, he played like a monkey king, and he was pretty powerful. I mean, he had some pretty good moves. Jet Li was a monkey king, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think he took out Jackie Chan, or maybe I don't know. It was a really bad movie, guys. I forgot what the name of that movie was, but it had Jackie Chan, had Jet Li, and had somebody else in there, and Jet Li was the Monkey King. So, anyway, so last slide, guys, and basically, Cobra Kai never dies. Okay, and then I have some key figures from the old movie franchises here. Okay, we got Mike Barnes. Okay, we got Sato. We got Terry Silver, and we got Julie Pierce from the next Karate Kid movie. What do you think? Are any of these guys going to appear in season 2?
I could see possibly Terry Silver out of any of these. I'm going to tell you a little bit why.
Okay.
Hilary Swank is an Oscar award-winning actress, right?
Uh-huh.
I think this might be a little bit too not big enough for her level, sort of thing, right?
This was her first big break, man. I mean, this is what got her into Hollywood, okay?
Right. Like, hey, if I was her, I would go back and say I'd give a little something back to the fans, and but at the same time, I don't see it happening just because of those reasons, right? I just think that she's box office now as opposed to television.
Sure.
But again, though, when's the last time we've seen Hilary Swank?
Yeah.
I haven't seen her since like $1 Million Baby, I think, or I can't recall anything after $1 Million Baby. Actually, where's she been?
I don't know. Maybe she's just kind of kicking back, in semi-retirement.
I mean, hey, this would be a perfect way for her to come back. Would be to, maybe she can teach maybe she can be a Tori's mom or something.
All right. So
Mike Barnes I think he was on General Hospital. So he might be able to come back. I don't think he ever. I can't. Oh, he was in The Last Castle with Robert Redford. That actor was right. And then I remember he was on General Hospital for a while too. But I think he played a character named Jason or something. But anyway, they could possibly bring him back. But I think Terry Silver. Now there's an actor that I can't recall ever seeing in any other film ever other than Karate Kid Part 3.
Yeah. I mean, and essentially Terry Silver was like a carbon copy of Steven Seagal, right? I mean, essentially, that's what he was, and yeah, that actor only appeared in one movie. What do you think about Sato? You think we're ever going to see Sato from Okinawa coming back? Maybe like Fund Miyagi-Do?
Maybe not Sato, but possibly. Oh, who was a student?
Oh, Chosen. Chosen was the kid that Danny kicked. Danny basically kicked his ass in the pit in Okinawa. The
only movie I ever saw him in prior to was Better Off Dead. Mm-hmm. When he played the guy that talked like Howard Cosell. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Better Off Dead with John Cusack, but
yeah.
I remember him being in that, but I don't recall him ever being in another movie. But is this actor still alive, Mel?
Who, Sato? I have no idea.
I don't know either, my friend. So that would be definitely interesting if they brought him back, though. That would be really cool, actually, if Sato made it. But I think if I was going to set odds, I would go Terry Silver has the best chance of coming back, and then Barnes, then Sato if he's alive,
okay,
and then Hilary Swank.
I'm going in basic clockwise order, starting with I think Mike Barnes is going to come at the end. I think Mike is going to get in there somehow. Okay, I think he's in a conspiracy with Kreese to do something. With Cobra Kai. Terry Silver, he may or may not appear at the end of this season or not. Okay, but I there's a strong possibility that he will appear at least in season 3. I bet you. I know, no. I'm holding out an optimistic hope that Judy Pierce comes back. I really am. Hilary Swank. I mean, we all know she's a 2-time Academy Award winner for Best Actress and stuff like that. But for maybe just a cameo shot or something, I really want her to come back. Okay, because I think that closes the loop on a lot of the stories. Okay, the storyline around Miyagi. Okay, I mean she might come back and basically talk to Daniel for like 5 minutes, and basically calm Daniel down and basically make him change his ways, something like that, right?
Yeah, I like that, but I like your Sato idea of doing that even better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Sato. Yeah, I mean Sato would be cool because he is a really wealthy man, right, in Okinawa, and I can see him coming in here and maybe partial. And remember, at the end of Karate Kid Part 2, him and Miyagi are best friends again, right? And I could see Sato coming in there and basically funding, Daniel for some kind of venture, there's something going on there that, might pop out. But Mike Barnes, man. I mean, I really want that Bad Boy Karate back in there.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think he's big enough box office to be like, I'm too big to do this type of show. Right? Yeah.
Right. So
I would think that's the only thing that's the only thing that would keep me thinking that Hilary Swank wouldn't possibly do this, right? But again, where is Hillary? Where have you been, Hillary?
Yeah. I mean, she's been kind of doing nothing. I think she's in semi-retirement or something.
I don't know where she is.
Yeah, I mean, did
you see Rob Gronkowski retired today?
Yeah. And good old Gronk. No Moss. So, Dawg, any other kind of like final thoughts and predictions of this season? I mean, you looking forward to it? The 24th, man. April 24th.
I'm definitely looking forward, man. This month's going to be freaking amazing, man. We got Game of Thrones and Cobra Kai all at once, and then Avengers Endgame too. Yeah. But I mean, definitely looking forward to this. So many questions that we talked about tonight that we'll get answered to, and definitely want to do another stream like this and talk a little more Karate Kid and what's going on with these episodes with you too, Milt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it could be like maybe some Cobra Kai recaps, episode recaps would be kind of fun to talk about this, I mean, it's not exactly like a big, huge thing in the community here, but since it's really limited exposure, right? You can only see this on YouTube, premium.
I can only talk about the Game of Thrones trailer for so long, So
exactly,
do other things.
So anyway, folks, that's it for the stream. I just want to thank everybody for stopping by here. And Dawg, I want to thank you for stopping by here and tell everybody what's going on with you and what you're up to, considering the issues that you've had with your channel lately.
Okay, so all week this week is I'm going to be replaying the Ben-Hur movie in its entirety every day starting on Monday. Just kidding, folks. So. No, folks. Everything's kind of on hiatus with what I'm doing on the channel. I'm kind of deciding on what kind of content I'm going to upload, things of that nature. I'll be back with Ninja this Sunday. We'll have something going on. Tuesday, I will be on Rhodes Rance's channel. Right, Rhodes Rants on Star Wars. You can see him in the chat here right now. So be sure to give him a sub. And we're doing Tuesday Night Live over on his channel. I think that's around 7:30, 8 o'clock time. So be sure to check that out. And other than that, man, making some videos, things of that nature too, and playing around on Twitch too. So.
All right. And also, guys, I just want to give some shout outs to everybody who stopped by tonight. Here, got Rhodes Rants, Peter Griffin, Al Red Sox fan, Phantom D Saint, Scrubs. Cameo stopped by, Living My Rhapsody, Lost Knowledge, Madeline 523, The Imagination Realm, and that's pretty much all I see as I'm scrolling up here. But hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, you can catch me every few weeks, 2-3 weeks on the Citadel Trivia. There's actually another stream this Friday night on Game of Thrones characters that Mary B. Sword and Phantom D. Saint are going to be hosting. there was no Clash of Crows stream yesterday, obviously, but it may reappear next weekend. So keep a lookout for that. Haven't decided yet because I'm still kind of like in this vacation mode, and it's hard to do like 3 streams sometimes in a row during a weekend. Let's see, and also, hey. I wasn't doing just nothing during my vacation. In fact, if you go to my channel right now, okay, I actually set up a Patreon, if you can believe it or not, dog. So basically a single tier, okay, it's only $1 a month, and basically it's called a unicorn tier. And what do you get for that $1 a month? You get lots of things, okay? You get to randomly know what I'm having for dinner on a particular day. Okay, that's pretty cool. For $5 a month, you will get to appear on a Clash of Crows stream with me. How exciting is that? That is for only $5 a month, you get to be on a Clash of Crows stream. Okay. And for $10 a month, maybe, just maybe, you'll get to host a trivia stream, if you can believe that. So, anyway, it's, do whatever you want to do, but it's really low rent. But I'll see what happens with it. It might turn out to be something permanent, or I might just refund everybody, because there are refunds in Patreon now. So it doesn't work out, I'll just give everybody their money back. Or if at any time you feel offended or unsatisfied with the content I'm actually pushing out, you'll get a refund. So, Dog, what do you think about that? You think that's a good idea, or you think that's
incredible
crazy?
to know what somebody had for dinner?
Yeah,
that is wild. Now, what I want to know is, like, if I was to like give an extra $1, would you possibly think about having dessert? I know you're not a big dessert guy, Milt, but I was wondering if I gave an extra $1, would you tell us that you were thinking about dessert at least?
Yes. For an extra $1, I will tell you that I'll be eating dessert on a particular day. How's that?
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, I'll be eating dessert on a particular day for that month, dog. It'll be a private message to you. And for $3 a month, I will actually say hi to you in the chat during a stream. So think about it that way, guys. So, but it's out there. So, subscribe if you want to or not. It's cool because, I enjoy making these things, but it's just something that, may help kind of like, lessen the sting of working so hard making these slide presentations if there was like a couple of bucks in my account. So anyway, again you'll get your money back if nothing happens. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for listening in. And God, I can't believe I actually put in like a stump. I actually stumped the Patreon channel in one of my streams. But anyway, thanks again, guys, for stopping by, watching the stream. It was great. And Dawg and I will see you next Sunday, probably for our Game of Thrones top 5 collaboration. So until then, talk to you guys later. And we're out.